Hi there, Sean Kosofsky here, the Nonprofit Fixer, and this is my Nonprofit Fixer YouTube channel where I talk about insights, tips, tactics, and techniques for fundraising, board development, and nonprofit leadership. So today we're going to be talking about donor prospect research, but not anything elaborate or expensive or time-consuming. This is really about simple donor prospect research right before a major donor ask. In the days and weeks going up to a major donor solicitation, there are a couple things you can do on the fly that are really easy to learn a little bit more about a donor. So down below this video, you'll see a link to a blog post that I wrote a while back about this topic, so you can go get more details about this topic there. And while you're down there, give me a like and subscribe to my channel if you can. But here is the main gist of it in just 3 easy points. When you're doing donor prospect research, you're basically just trying to make sure that you're learning a little bit about the person that you're talking to. If they've already given you a meeting, they know they're probably going to be asked for money. So by them saying yes, there's a good chance they know it's coming and that they're not totally opposed to the solicitation. But if they're going to be surprised by it, then you might have some different details there that might make the ask, the lunch, the coffee, whatever you're doing sort of interesting. But in essence, donor prospect research is figuring out just a couple things about the person. Maybe where they went to school, do they have a spouse, where do they live, what do they do for a living, where did they get their wealth, things like that. And there are ways to get this information even if they don't have a public foundation or private foundation or website dedicated to sharing this information with people. So some different simple tips you can do include using Google or any search engine. There are ways you can search for someone's name. You can use Google Alerts, which I use Google Alerts all the time. So you can go to Google Alerts website, set in some keyword parameters like a person's name or their business or something like that. And then every day you'll get a digest, or in real time you'll get emails telling you information about that. For example, if I wanted to look up Joe Schmo at XYZ Corporation, I might do a Google Alert search or a real-time Google search for those words and see what's happening in the news, see what's happening on the blogs, see what's happening lately in the past few weeks or few months related to their business or things related to their name. Make sure you found the right person when you look up their name. There could be multiple Joe Schmoes. And then just make a couple notes about things that you see there. Has there been good news? Has there been bad news? Has there been challenging news? And you might want to think about that as you head into a meeting, because it'll give you information about whether they're optimistic or if they're having a bad month. These are all things you can do heading into a donor meeting. So I use Google Alerts. You can also use Google in real time or any other search engine for this. Some people use social media, and that's the second tip here. So LinkedIn is my preferred place to go to because it is a little bit more professional, and I think you're going to get more information that's useful to you for a donor ask than using Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or any of the other platforms. So what I would do is I would go to one of these platforms and look up their name, look up their employer, do different keyword searches, and see what kinds of things they're posting or sharing or commenting on or authoring, right? Posts. These are very useful for walking into a meeting because I am a huge believer that the first minute or two of a donor meeting sets the tone for the whole meeting. And what that means is if you can start laughing, smiling, being happy, saying something really interesting about a connection you have, you're going to be way ahead than someone who walks in and gets right down to business, or someone who gets into that meeting and is uncomfortable or awkward about how to start the conversation. So mindless little chit chat is not everyone's jam, right? So they can't do that really well, especially lots of introverts. They don't really like making small talk. So what I would do is definitely see something that they're sharing lately. And as an example, I might walk in to Joe Schmo's office and just say, Hey, I saw that you were really excited about this climate change conference you were at recently. My uncle was also there, or my cousin knows someone who does solar panel installation, and I've been hearing about the movement on this issue. I'm so glad you're involved with that. So find something that they're engaged in locally or lately or anything like that, and bring that up early in the conversation because it can make a human connection. So those are some of the research things you can do. It's not necessarily data, but it's definitely information on them. If you get to the donor meeting and you are at their office or at their home or something like that, or on their turf somehow, there are still things you can do last minute on the fly. For example, I used to be a lobbyist, so I would walk into a lawmaker's office and I would look at things on their walls and try to make small talk about things on their walls. Like, oh, I see you caught this giant bass in Lake Michigan. That's great. You're a fisher? You're a fisherman? Like, I was fishing all the time growing up with my uncles on their boat, and I loved it. And, catching really large fish was really big to us because everything we caught, we ate. And so we didn't just do it for sport. And so I love that you are so proud of your, fishing experience. Something cheesy like that, right? But I would look on their walls for trophies or awards or pictures of things that matter to them. So at the last minute, if you didn't get to do any research on Google or social media and you're in their office, look around just obviously about things that matter to them and use that to cultivate a conversation that warms you guys up for the ask. Remember, donor prospect research isn't always about their wealth or their assets. It is usually actually about some human element that makes you both connected. So if you like this, again, hit like down below, and subscribe to my channel. But check out the full blog post where you can get more links and other support. And I thank you so much.